Hi, I'm Violet Van Hees, and this is Grow Your Movement Freedom. Welcome. So today, we're going to work with my new ride, which is a stand-up paddleboard. And it's a great thing to help introduce and look at the topic for today, which is physical balance and how to find more of it. So I have quite a number of clients who come to me, and one of the things that they want is more freedom in their movement, and one of the pieces of that is having better balance. They feel like they've got poor balance, or they're not able to do some things because their balance isn't reliable, isn't good. And so I want to take a look at balance today and the kinds of things, some of the elements that help feed into our ease of finding balance, especially when you're trying something new, like a new sport, like something that is on a less stable surface than what you're used to. So there's three things that are really important for balance. They're a really important factor that influences how easy it is to find balance. And one of them is that when you get nervous, when you get anxious, we tend to do this. We tend to brace. And so you notice that it's sort of like a startle reflex, right? You sort of brace back and you get tight. And when we get tight, there's a couple of things that happen that work against you and finding balance. One of those is that when we get tight, we tend to move up. We tighten up. It is a sense of up with that. And when we move up in space, we get more top heavy. Our center of gravity moves up and we become more tippy. And when you combine tippy with the second thing that's in there is that you become rigid. Then you've got this long, tippy, rigid pole that you become, right? You become kind of like a big pole. And a big rigid pole like that, that's top heavy, is easily tipped over. So yes, at that point, balance is a lot harder to find, right? So it's one of those things where when you become tight and up, you're more tippy. And then the third thing is that when you do that, you end up going into your muscles. It's like your muscles are trying to hold you up to keep you from falling over. But you know how well that works, right? It's the sense of as soon as the muscles are trying to do this, they can't hold you up from gravity. But you're trying to do something inside the muscles that doesn't work. So all of this makes your body even more anxious. And then you get that spiral of feeling more and more tippy and less in balance. So the question is what to do instead. So one of the key tips that can help you find better balance is to let your muscles loosen up a little bit. Kind of release a bit so that your muscles actually go from being rigid and tight to being flexible and able to adjust a little bit. See, the thing is, when we stand, you're in balance. You're doing balance every single day because you're standing upright. And you've learned to do this in your life. And some of us do it more efficiently than others, and sometimes some of us, we all have patterns where we grip or where we get tight or where we might be able to do it with more ease. And part of the ease is being able to find out how can the bones help you out more. Can you settle onto your bones a bit more so then your muscles don't have to be all busy like this? Because the thing with muscles, muscle fibers are either on or off. A muscle fiber doesn't have an in-between. And you have lots and lots of muscle fibers in each muscle. And if all the muscle fibers in your muscle are busy doing this, then there's no muscle fibers available to turn off and on and sort of adapt and adjust to what's actually going on around you. So at that point, you don't have the ability to kind of do a little bit of this and find your balance and do the fine tuning. You kind of have to move everything. And that's a really inefficient way to do stuff. And it's also much more prone to tipping over, right? That's when you become rigid and not movable. Ideally, we're going to have a little bit of this kind of thing going on. And normally in life, when we're standing, when we're walking, we're doing a little bit of this going on. And the more of this you can have versus this, the easier it is to find your balance and to adjust to something new, like standing on a less stable surface. So then the question is, well, that's all very nice, but how do I do that? Right? How do I get that? How do I find my bones more? So that my bones can do what they're best built to do, which is to hold me upright, and the muscles can basically line up the bones and then have freedom to do the fine-tuning and the adjustments, rather than the muscles trying to do what bones can do better, which is trying to hold me up in space. Well, one of the things that works for me, one of the things that I've found is really effective, is to breathe out and to sort of settle and see if you can settle and feel the support of your bones, and to come out of here and bring your support more into the pelvis. So when I breathe out and I bring my weight and feel it settle sort of onto the pelvis, onto the big bones and the muscles of my lower body, then I can feel my muscles a bit, I can feel my bones a bit more, the support that my feet and my bones can give me. And once I've done sort of a breathe out, the next thing I check for is, do I feel my feet? Can I feel my feet on the ground so I can actually get a sense of my base of support? Because your nervous system is really interested in how reliable and good your base of support is. And depending on how I'm balancing, if I'm on my feet, it's my feet that form the base of support and the surface that they're standing on. And as soon as the surface becomes a little more wobbly, I want to feel my feet more so that I can make the adjustments in my body. If I'm on all fours, if I'm doing yoga, if I'm in another position, I'm looking for whichever points are in contact with the ground that create the base of support, and feeling how clear is that base of support. Can I make it more clear? Can I let my hands really feel the ground if I'm on all fours? Can I let my knees and my legs and my hands work together if I'm doing something like about to go on up and downward dog, or doing something where I'm lifting one arm while one hand and 2 feet are on the ground, those kinds of things. And then in all of that, I really try to figure out, I pay attention to, can I stay soft? So can I find my bones, and then can I keep the rest of me soft? Because then I have the ability to respond in small refinements rather than trying to do big jerky movements which throw me off balance. So now I'm going to take this and put it into action for you. I'm going to get onto my paddleboard, which is not the most elegant activity for me yet, but it's getting there, right? And we can see how all of this is in action here, how I pay attention to this, and might give you some ideas of how you can pay attention to something that you want to find for yourself, like being able to lift a foot to put a sock on or take a shoe off, right? Or doing something where you want to be able to just stand on one foot and reach for something. Similar kind of concept can apply to those kinds of activities as what I'm going to do here with the paddleboard. So I'm going to step onto this other foot, get soft, and stand up. And because I was soft in my legs, I was able to do that reasonably well. And it's in part keeping that softness that lets me adjust and hold this and hold my balance while I'm on here, so I can wiggle. I can do other things like that. Okay, you can see it better back here. Being able to just wiggle and feel it, and feel the softness in my body so that I can keep my balance. So go ahead and play with this a little bit, doing something that you want to be able to do better, like being able to lift a foot to take your sock off, or something like that, right? Like being able to sweep the dirt off of the bottom of your foot, or just being able to do whatever activity it is that you'd like with some more balance. And find out if you can breathe out so you can settle on the bones a bit more. Let your center of gravity drop a bit more into the middle of you, and feel the ground with your feet, or with whatever places are in touch with the ground. And see if those 3 things, settling, letting your bones settling into your bones, and feeling the ground with the parts in contact with the ground, can help you find easier and better balance. And see if you might be able to release some of the tightness that's going on in your muscles, and instead replace it with a sense of just connection, feeling like cat feet, feeling the ground and feeling what's there, so you can work with it and it can support you rather than trying to hold yourself up off of it. All right? Have fun with that, and we'll see you next time. My information is right below if you want to get in touch with me, and if you'd like to work with me, or if you have any questions, feel free to get in touch. I'd love to talk with you. Thanks very much. Bye-bye till next time.